a WikiVidi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Sade, singer. Helen Folasade Adu, CBE, known professionally as Sade Adu or simply Sade, is a Nigerian British singer-songwriter, composer, arranger, and record producer. Backed by members Paul S. Denman, Andrew Hale, and Stuart Matthewman, she gained worldwide fame as the lead vocalist of the English band Sade. Following a brief stint as a fashion designer of men's clothing and part-time model, Sade began singing backup for the band Pride in the early 1980s. Growing attention from record labels led her, along with other fellow band members, to separate from Pride and form the band Sade. Following a record deal with Epic Records, the band released their debut album Diamond Life. The album sold over 6 million copies, becoming one of the top-selling debut recordings of the 1980s, and the best-selling debut ever by a British female vocalist. Following the release of the band's debut album, they went on to release a string of multi-platinum selling albums. Their follow-up Promise was released in 1985, peaked at number 1 in the UK albums chart and the US Billboard 200, and went on to sell 4 million copies in the US. Sade later made her acting debut in the British film Absolute Beginners, before the release of the band's albums Stronger Than Pride and Love Deluxe. After the release of the fifth album, Lovers Rock, the band embarked on a 10-year hiatus in which Sade raised her son. Following the hiatus, the band returned with their sixth album, Soldier of Love, which became a commercial success and won a Grammy Award. Sade's US certified sales stand at 23.5 million units, according to Recording Industry Association of America website, and the band has sold more than 50 million units worldwide. The band was ranked at number 50 on VH1's list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. In 2010, the Sunday Times described her as the most successful solo British female artist in history. In 2012, Sade was listed at number 30 on VH1's 100 Greatest Women in Music. Early life. Helen Folasade Adu was born on 16 January 1959 in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. Her middle name, Folasade, means Anna confers a crown. Her parents, Adebisi Adu, a Nigerian lecturer in economics of Yoruba background, and Anne Hayes, an English district nurse, met in London, married in 1955 and moved to Nigeria. Her parents separated, however, and Anne Hayes returned to England, taking 4-year-old Sade and older brother Banji with her to live with their grandparents near Colchester, Essex. When Sade was 11 years old, she moved to Holland-on-Sea, Essex, to live with her mother. After completing her education at Clacton County High School at age 18, she moved to London and studied fashion design at St Martin's School of Art. 1980-84, Beginnings and Diamond Life. After completing a 3-year coursework in fashion design, and later modeling briefly, Sade began backup singing with British band Pride. During this time, she formed a songwriting partnership with Pride's guitarist/saxophonist Stuart Matthewman. Together, backed by Pride's rhythm section, they began doing their own sets at Pride gigs. Her solo performances of the song, Smooth Operator, attracted the attention of record companies, and in 1983 Sade and Matthewman split from Pride, along with keyboardist Andrew Hale, bassist Paul Denman and drummer Paul Cook, to form the band Sade. By the time she performed her first show at London's Heaven nightclub, she had become so popular that 1,000 people were turned away at the door. In May 1983, Sade performed their first US show at the Danceteria nightclub in New York City. On the 18th of October 1983, Sade Adu signed with Epic Records, while the rest of the band signed in 1984. Following the record deal, the group began recording their debut album, Diamond Life, which took 6 weeks to record and was recorded entirely at the Power Plant in London. Diamond Life was released on 16 July 1984, reached number 2 in the UK album chart, sold over 1.2 million copies in the UK, and won the Brit Award for Best British Album in 1985. The album was also a hit internationally, reaching number 1 in several countries and the top 10 in the US. where it has sold in excess of 4 million copies. Diamond Life had international sales of over 6 million copies, becoming one of the top-selling debut recordings of the 80s, and the best-selling debut ever by a British female vocalist. Your Love Is King was released as the album's lead single on the 25th of February 1984, and was a success in European territories, charting at number 7 in Ireland and number 6 on the UK singles chart. The song was less successful in the US, where it peaked at number 54 on the US Billboard Hot 100. The third single, Smooth Operator, was released on the 15th of September 1984 and became the most successful song in the US from the album Diamond Life. The track peaked at number 5 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and the US Billboard Hot Black Singles, as well as peaking at number 1 on the US Billboard Adult Contemporary chart. In Europe the song fared well, peaking at number 19 in the UK, and reaching the top 20 in Austria, Switzerland, France, and Germany. 1985, 200, continued success and first hiatus. In late 1985, the band released their second album, Promise, which peaked at number 1 in both the UK and the US, and became the band's first album to reach number 1 on the US Billboard 200. The album topped the chart in 1986 and spent 2 weeks at the peak position. Eventually, the album went on to sell 4 million copies in the region and was certified 4 times platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America. The album spawned 2 singles, Never As Good As the First Time, and The Sweetest Taboo, the latter of which was released as the album's lead single and stayed on the US Hot 100 for 6 months. The Sweetest Taboo peaked at number 5 on the US Billboard Hot 100, number 1 on the US Adult Contemporary chart, and number 3 on the US Hot R&B/hip-hop singles and tracks. Sade was so popular that some radio stations reinstated the 70s practice of playing album tracks, adding Is It a Crime and Tar Baby to their playlists. The following year, 1986, the band won a Grammy Award for Best New Artist. In 1986, Sade made her acting debut in Absolute Beginners, a film adapted from the Colin McInnes book of the same name about life in late 1950s London. Sade played the role of Athene Duncannon and lent her vocals to the film's accompanying soundtrack. The film was screened out of competition at the 1986 Cannes Film Festival and grossed £1.8 million in the UK. Sade's third album, Stronger Than Pride, was released on the 3rd of May 1988. And like Sade's previous album became a commercial success and certified 3 times platinum in the US. The album was popularized by 4 singles, most notably the album's second single, Paradise, which peaked at number 16 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and peaked at number 1 on the US Billboard Hot R&B/hip-hop songs, becoming the band's first single to do so. Love Deluxe was released as the band's 4th studio album on the 26th of October 1992. The album peaked at number 3 on the US Billboard 200 and has sold 3.4 million copies in the United States. The album was later certified 4 times platinum by the RIAA for shipments of 4 million copies. The album was also commercially successful elsewhere, reaching number 1 in France, and reaching the top 10 in New Zealand, Sweden, Switzerland and the UK. The album went on to be certified gold in the United Kingdom. In November 1994, the group released their first compilation album, The Best of Sade. The album was another top 10 hit in both the United Kingdom and the United States, certified platinum and 4 times platinum, respectively. The compilation album included material from Sade's previous albums, as well as a cover version of Please Send Me Someone to Love, originally by Percy Mayfield. 2010, Lovers Rock on second hiatus. Following an 8-year hiatus, the band released their 5th studio album, Lovers Rock, on the 13th of November 2000 and received positive reviews from music critics. The album reached number 18 on the UK Albums Chart, number 3 on the US Billboard 200, and has since been certified triple platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, having sold 3.9 million copies in the United States by February 2010. On the 27th of February 2002, the album earned Sade the Grammy Award for Best Pop Vocal Album, and the lead single, By Your Side, was nominated for the 2002 Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Although the single lost out to Nelly Furtado's "I'm Like a Bird," it has been listed as the 48th greatest love song of all time by VH1. To promote the album, Sade and the band embarked on their fifth concert tour entitled Lovers Rock Tour. The tour was announced via the band's website in April 2001. The announcement stated the tour would begin in the summer of 2001 with 30 shows. Initial dates were rescheduled due to extended rehearsal time. The shows sold well, with many stops adding additional shows. In August 2001, the tour was extended by 8 weeks due to ticket demand. Deemed by many critics as a comeback tour, it marked the band's first performances since 1994 and lasted until 2011, although many believed that Iraq would expand to other countries. This did not occur. With over 40 shows, it became the 13th biggest tour in North America, earning over $26 million. Following the tour, the band released their first live album, Lovers Live, on the 5th of February 2002 by Epic Records. Lovers Live reached number 10 on the US Billboard 200 and number 51 on the UK Albums Chart, the band's first album to miss the top 20 in the UK. The album was certified gold by the RIAA on the 7th of March 2002, having reached US sales of 562,000 copies, while the DVD was certified platinum on the 30th of January 2003 for shipping 100,000 copies. Following the release of Lovers Rock, Sade took a 10-year hiatus, during which she raised her daughter and moved to the Caribbean. During this time, she made a rare public appearance for an award ceremony that took place in 2002 to accept an Order of the British Empire at Buckingham Palace for services to music. In 2002, she appeared on the Red Hot Organization album, Red Hot Plus Riot, a compilation CD in tribute to the music of fellow Nigerian musician, Fela Kuti. She recorded a remix of her hit single, By Your Side, for the album, and was billed as a co-producer. 2010-present, Soldier of Love and third hiatus. The band's sixth studio album, Soldier of Love, was released worldwide on the 8th of February 2010 and was the most recent album in 10 years to contain new material. Upon release, the album received positive reviews and became a success. The album debuted atop the Billboard 200 in the United States with first-week sales of 502,000 copies. Soldier of Love became the band's first album to debut at number 1 and the band's second album to peak at number 1 on the chart. The album also had the best sales week by a group, since Australian band AC/DC released their album Black Ice and entered the Billboard 200 at number 1 in November 2008. Consequently, the band became the act with the longest hiatus between number 1 albums, as the band's Promise and Soldier of Love were separated by 24 years, 10 months and 2 weeks. The first single and title track, Soldier of Love, premiered on US radio on the 8th of December 2009 and was released digitally on the 11th of January 2010. Subsequent singles, Baby Father and The Moon and the Sky, were played by US Urban Adult Contemporary Radio on the 13th of April and the 24th of August 2010, respectively. At the 53rd Annual Grammy Awards in 2011, the title track won Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals, while the song, Baby Father, was nominated for Best Pop Performance by a duo or group with vocals. In April 2011, the band began their Sade Live tour. The band toured Europe, the Americas, Australia, and Asia to promote the band's sixth studio album and their second compilation album, The Ultimate Collection. This trek marked the band's first tour in nearly a decade and ranked 27th in Pollstar's Top 50 Worldwide Tour, earning over $20 million. At the conclusion of 2011, the tour placed 10th on Billboard's annual Top 25 Tours, earning over $50 million with 59 shows. The tour was chronicled with Bring Me Home Live 2011, released in May 2012. In March 2018 the band released the acoustic ballad, A Flower of the Universe, for the soundtrack to the Disney film A Wrinkle in Time. About asking Sade to contribute to the album, director Ava DuVernay wrote, "I never thought she'd say yes, but asked anyway." Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?